But let's start off, for those of you who maybe hit that parlay button last night, couple of dogs, maybe winning outright. What did you think? Did you think the Falcons and Bears could both win Monday Night Football? If you did, you won 24-14. The Falcons take an early lead and generally never look back in this one. I would say two things about this game, having watched some of it. Very strange game plan for Buffalo and outstanding execution, I know that's cliche, for the Atlanta Falcons. 3 players on offense, Michael Penix Jr., Bijan Robinson, and Drake London just literally ate the Bills' defense apart. Have to think the Bills got to get better on defense if they have aspirations of going further. Let's hear from Raheem Morris on arguably their biggest win in over a year against the Bills.
I really can't. They went out and executed their game plan. They did a great job. I can't wait to watch the film to see all the execution, the things that we talked about come to life. I can't wait to watch those guys go out there and play for each other like they did today. It was a very excellent job by those guys going out there, rushing a very good quarterback, keeping him in the pocket up into that last drive or whatever the case was. He was able to get out, but those guys did a great job of executing the game plan, doing exactly what we wanted to do versus a very good football team.
Not the result we were looking for. I thought the guys played hard, in particular in the second half, fought through some injuries, guys stepping up. Injuries are not an excuse. There's no such thing as moral victories. But I did think that they battled down to the end right there, which I appreciate. Not good enough in the first half. Allowing them to be a two-dimensional offense when they hit us on some long runs, and then the receiver comes open, and so I thought we did a good job making adjustments at halftime on the defensive side, and limiting them in the second half and giving our offense some opportunities. Just not enough overall as a team.
Second dog of the night to cover against the spread and win outright. Chicago Bears go to Washington, D.C. And how about that? Win that game? I don't know a lot of people who thought that was going to happen. 25-24, the final story in this one was the Bears clamping down late on defense. They haven't done that all year. And the performance of DeAndre Swift, who came through swiftly, no pun intended. Washington certainly playing without Terry McLaurin. They need some playmakers going there again in Washington. They're struggling a little bit on offense. Caleb Williams, by the way, from that area in D.C., gets to go home, get the win. Talked about it after.
Yeah, it felt great. Back in, hometown, obviously, and been able to come out with a win like that is big for us, big for us as a team, big for us as an offense, special team, just overall big for us. And, that's a hell of a team over there. So being able to come out victorious in a dogfight where, things weren't perfect, weather wasn't perfect, and being able to come out victorious is big for us. So feel great.
We've become way too accustomed of digging ourselves out of holes. 2 early turnovers, 1 late. All 3 phases dug the hole, and all 3 phases helped get out. But we didn't create enough takeaways to finish -3. You really don't deserve to win many games when you're, in that space. So had chances for interceptions, had chances to get some, did not create any. Honestly, just didn't perform well enough. Run game, both sides. So a lot that needs our attention, and get right back to it as we, get going right against the division opponent next week. But this one stings. You have a chance even to dig yourself out and go battle for it and not get that job done. But like I said, you gotta create them also to finish in the plus. So
after our show was over, I got a text from our producer Frank saying that there was a firing in the National Football League. And so I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that it was Tennessee firing head coach Brian Callahan. Now, folks, I'm going to read you this record and you tell me how it sounds. 4 wins and 19 losses as the head coach of the Titans. It's sort of incredible, this NFL, where they just, guys get jobs and just lose at incredible rates and somehow end up getting jobs again. Mike McCoy, remember him? Remember Mike McCoy? I think he was he head coach of the San Diego Chargers, I want to say, back in the day? He's the interim head coach. Yeah, good luck. Okay, the Seattle Mariners, folks, look like they could be headed to the World Series. They just went to Toronto and won the first 2 games of their best-of-7 American League Championship Series. Seattle got off to a great start with Julio Rodriguez hitting a home run early. And, yeah, he hit it off that young pitcher on Toronto, Trey Savage, who just had absolutely nothing. It seems like, hey, maybe they watched some film on this guy before the game. which the Yankees did not do. Sorry. 10-3 the final. Seattle takes a 2-0 lead in the best-of-7 series. They're headed back to the Pacific Northwest, and they can wrap up the ALCS if they win the next two this weekend. But bullpen was the topic of conversation because once Seattle took the lead, bullpen hung in well. Here's Dan Wilson.
Yeah, I thought it was just an outstanding job again tonight by the bullpen. Logan giving us 3, and that was what we needed. And then, you hand the ball to Bizzardo, who's been so solid, so consistent all season long, and gave us, a nice bridge to get to the later innings. And then Vargy, jumping on after we were able to take a lead. And, when you got a guy like Vargy who's able to come in and throw 98, 99 miles an hour, that's a plus. And again, he gave us 2 strong innings, turned it over to Emerson and another 2 strong innings. So just an excellent job by the bullpen tonight.
Do what we've done all year, I think just looking at the difference in these first 2, slug hasn't been there for us, has been there for them. And you never know when it's going to turn. They got a good pitching staff. They're featuring some good stuff. But I thought today was way better than yesterday, obviously. And we hit some balls hard. I want these guys to continue to feel like they're on the attack. You know what I mean? It's what we've done this entire season. So hopefully the luck turns, and hopefully the slug shows up when we get there.
National League Championship Series goes the way that most thought in Game 1. It was the Dodgers picking up the victory in the best-of-7 series. Blake Snell was incredible. He's a starter for the Dodgers. 2-1 the final in Milwaukee as they take back home field advantage throughout the NLCS. They'll play the second game tonight. In addition, in the NFL, let's get to some other news before we get to Bill Bender. Brian Branch of the Lions was suspended 1 game following his incident with the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night. He's appealing that one. Also, Mike McDaniel said yesterday Tua Tagovailoa shouldn't have brought up team meetings and stuff after the game where the Dolphins lost to the Chargers. How about Mike Tomlin? Check this out. He said that he didn't like the trade of the Browns sending Joe Flacco in the division to the Bengals. Take a listen.
To be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us because it doesn't make sense to me. To trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feelings.